Whoa, what's happening, wrestling fans? I had my mouth full of mango. Kevin, what's up?
Excuse me. And thus it begins. Doug is so excited about the week that it is, he's just cramming mangoes like crazy into his mouth. Because it's WrestleMania, Doug. It's time to eat the mangoes.
Dry mangoes, Kevin. Even better. I can eat more of these.
It is WrestleMania week. You would have to be the most cynical of wrestling fans to not be excited about this week. We are very excited. And that is our main event topic, what we'll be talking about for a majority of our broadcast. That is previewing WrestleMania with all of our predictions on both Saturday and Sunday's cards. But before we even get into that, I want to just thank everyone who tuned into our last episode. We previewed the Hall of Fame. It was the most viewed episode we've had in more than 8 months. So just really want to thank everyone for checking that out. If you didn't check that out and want the full WrestleMania preview experience, you can get a preview of the Hall of Fame by checking out the archives here on the channel. Go give that one a watch. But Doug, we can't start WrestleMania week here on a different night than normal because obviously we didn't want to compete with the AEW's pay-per-view.
Cannot do that.
We do have some news.
Ooh, let's get that news going. It's a little warm in Storyteller Studio East. I'm going to turn the AC up a little bit.
Doug wants to cool down for this opening bell in the news tonight. We're going to start with two stories about Triple H, because I guess this is sort of WrestleMania related in that Triple H is head of creative, but we have two stories about Triple H and his role over creative, or just how much power he has or doesn't have.
Yeah.
One of these stories is way in the past and the other is recent. Let's go way in the past. Recently revealed text messages between Triple H and Nick Khan during the time frame of the TKO merger show that the game was very anxious and frustrated with what he perceived as a failure to fully remove his father-in-law from WWE's operations, even after the deal itself was closed. The messages came to light as part of Post Wrestling's ongoing coverage of the merger lawsuit that alleges Vince predetermined the transaction with Endeavor in order for him to stay with WWE despite the sexual misconduct scandal that had ousted him to begin with. It's worth pointing out that in these exchanges, Nick Khan was deleting his side of the conversation. Triple H apparently did not. So all we have is Triple H's side of the convo. But one of the text messages that occurred after the merger revealed Triple H telling Nick that he had just been informed by security that McMahon was planning on attending a Raw taping and was asking Nick, what was that about? My favorite text, though, and I'm going to have to just read this one verbatim, would be Triple H throwing TKO brass Ari Emanuel and Mark Shapiro under the bus for failing to remove McMahon from the picture entirely. The text goes, quote, "The more I think about it, the more I'm kind of disappointed in that Aria convo," Triple H wrote. It seems like we are in the same place of, I'm going to tell him to stay out of it or else, which is very different than I'm telling him he's done, it's over. Kicking the can down the road. Between you and I, it feels like they are both backtracking on the he's out narrative. It's back to the, well, if he wants to go to the show now and then, if he gives notes and to creative now and then, oh well, that's okay. So interestingly enough, Triple H himself pretty much confirmed all of this on Cody Rhodes' recent podcast. He admitted that there was not a clean handoff for creative and that he was occasionally having to answer questions regarding creative decisions that were not completely his own. So for those who, the conspiracy theorist wrestling fan out there who thinks that Vince has kept his hand in things. Hi, Doug. Vince kept his hand in things for as long as he possibly could, and obviously was interfering even beyond the time that I'm sure these have been some very interesting Thanksgiving dinners at the McMahon Helmsley household the last couple of years. But yeah, these text messages show that he was very frustrated that TKO was not getting Vince out of the way.
I get it. I mean, I get it.
I get being frustrated for sure.
I get it.
It's-
Yeah.
yeah,
Pick pick
especially
a
if you have to
side and
answer about the old man's decisions, and people think they're
hmm
yours.
yes.
Along those same lines of Triple H being put in a tough spot, reports are that the Pat McAfee lines about WWE ticket sales and ratings were not written for him by the creative team. This news is coming from Dave Meltzer, of all people, so
Uh,
that's a pretty reliable source in general. Dave is claiming Pat delivered his initial return on SmackDown. Uh, that was not apparently what was communicated to Triple H that Pat was actually going to say. Triple H was told something different. Um,
uh-huh.
Triple H and the creative team supposedly decided though to just play into the storyline by having CM Punk address it on this last couple of weeks of Raw. Just interesting power games being played in WWE as we head into what is their biggest weekend of the year. When you have meddling from TKO apparently getting in the way of decisions that creative have made, it's a really tough spot.
It is a really tough spot. Interesting that they stick, corporate man Punk into the action there. Go get him, Punk.
I know, right?
What's that about? And he marches right into the fray. Oh wait, and another thing, I'm not finished yet. Now that I've cut my promo, let me get to this other thing.
Yeah, I mean he's in the main event with the other guy, and he is
hmm
addressing the other main event because CM Punk and Triple H, who once absolutely hated one
Right?
another, are such good buds now. It's interesting, and it will continue to be interesting. Especially, I mean, it is obviously a different world, not just without Vince, but with corporate ownership. That comes with a
hmm
lot of demands. Triple H has those problems that Vince never had when the buck stopped with Vince. So
Right.
if finances or ratings or anything begins to slip, you better believe that the hot seat is going to be where Triple H finds himself, and more of this
hmm
kind of thing may be happening. In other news, there are some other wrestling companies, but TNA has made its
What?
own share of news the last few weeks by pulling contracted talent from a number of independent shows. In particular, the company is pulling wrestlers from shows where they would be working with AEW talents.
Uh,
TNA president Carlos Silva was asked about the controversy and often these last minute cancellations, and he confirmed that the wrestlers were pulled due to what he called partner conflicts. So I wonder who the
uh-huh.
partner would be. Um,
Who could that
who
be?
who would possibly have an issue with TNA talent working with AEW wrestlers?
No, really, who?
So I guess this isn't completely non WWE story because you know that they're the ones that are saying and Carlos knows where his bread is being buttered on this one. One of the
Sure.
matches canceled included MJF. He had an upcoming bout with Create a Pro Wrestling organization where he was scheduled to take on Nick Nemeth, and that match is now off. Uh,
Hmm.
MJF says he'll still be there. Nick will not. After weeks of teases, WWE officially announced Club WWE this week, last night on Raw, complete with a John Cena voiceover. Essentially, Club WWE will function like the many fan clubs that music artists have used for
Mm,
years. So, for an annual fee, Club WWE members will get a 24-hour head start on tickets with exclusive pre-sale access. They'll get tailored perks at the events, including special entrances into the venue, meet and greets with the talent. They'll also receive a members only WWE shop with items available only to them. Membership will give you bonus content like extended video cuts, behind the scene footage. It will give fans a dedicated community forum to meet up with other fans. Members will also earn points. There's a point based reward system to earn credits to purchase digital and physical goods. So, in other words, the more
we'll
you
get
buy, the more you save. Um,
ah,
right now, just to make it appear more exclusive, they're just you can't join. They're having fans who are interested to join a wait list. You can go to WWE's website to find out more information and to get in on that list. Doug, After the show's
I'm
over with, I'll see you there.
absolutely. I want to get my points, Kevin.
Absolutely. Bye, bye, bye. Programming note: the Two Bros Wrestling Show isn't the only broadcast airing on a different night this week. AEW Collision will take place on Thursday. Obviously,
Why?
Tony Khan
Why?
is wisely not wanting to air opposite of WrestleMania, especially when part of the event is going to be airing free on the ESPN networks. That would be a massacre for Tony, so can't blame him for that. Probably a
You mean
nice transition to our main event, though, because the match cards for Mania were announced this week, set, including what is going to be on that ESPN broadcast. A few of those are surprising. So let's go ahead and transition to that main event, Doug, and talk about all of this. It is our main topic. In addition, though, to the ESPN news, and we'll take that second. I also want to say the other really thing we should preface about this WrestleMania is not just the ESPN broadcast, which is unique, but this is
hmm
also the last WrestleMania to be held domestically before next year's WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. So for
maybe.
all of the fans who traditionally go and no matter where it is in the United States, fly, make a weekend out of it, next year's WrestleMania is going to look very different. And I know there's a lot of controversy over where it is and the regime and all of that, but it will definitely be a destination that most
hmm
fans that traditionally go will not be able to go to. So that makes this WrestleMania the last WrestleMania most fans can attend for at least 2 years.
Hmm. Maybe.
If
I mean, there are backup plans for what Indianapolis and what maybe Las Vegas again.
Well, based on ticket sales, they may want to move it around a little bit
Right.
because, well, honestly, the 10% down they are on tickets is everything to do with people not wanting to travel to the United States. Tourism is down across the board. And I'm sure having it in a repeat destination caused some hardship for those folks who had planned on going to New
hmm
Orleans when the rug was pulled out of those people. So they've definitely made it a little more difficult than it needed to be in this instance. But the show itself is just days away. The sets are being built. My bags are packed. Uh, Heading to the desert to catch my first in-person WrestleMania. Doug, what do you think about the idea though of the ESPN tie-in? I can argue it both ways. While it's weird that some of these matches that are big matches are going to be airing for free, it makes this already the WrestleMania that will have the most eyeballs on it ever. And from that aspect of trying to sell ESPN Unlimited subscriptions, I totally get it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I think it makes perfect sense to tease for free and then, cut like the last couple of AEW pay per views where we have that cut into, oh,
Yeah.
well, it looks like this one's rolling into the actual pay per view itself. We were going to give it away for free, but it's still going on. Last chance to get in. Yeah, it's a very old school promoter technique, but yeah, I think it's effective. And I think let's do this and slide it into ESPN. And I mean, and what we're on international on Netflix, is that
On
right?
that.
The
Yeah.
international audience gets it on Netflix. So I
Yeah, I think it's smart business. It's not they are giving away some of the biggest matches, but then again, when you think sports broadcasting, ESPN is what people think of. So without question, this is going to be the most watched WrestleMania of all time, if only for the first couple of hours of each
right.
night. So let's get into that first ESPN2 broadcast, which is where it'll be on Saturday night. That first hour contains two matches. The first match seems like the pre-show match that you would expect to be on a pre-show anywhere, and that would be the six-man tag match between Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and IShow Speed versus the Usos and LA Knight. Doug, I think for me, of the entire weekend, this is the most skippable. This is the most pre-show of pre-show, like when the sun's still out and the people are still taking their seats kind of matches.
You know,
Um, Nothing terribly exciting about this one for me. despite the maybe some people won't like the iShow Speed involvement because of his YouTube following, but
This is one I initially looked at and said, "Why are there two YouTubers?" It was like, "Oh no, wait a minute! Logan Paul's a wrestler. He's actually a good wrestler."
yeah. And who knows what Speed will be able. I mean, he's been involved with WWE before. This is his first match. I will say though, for Jay Uso, last year you were challenging for a world title. You had just won the Royal Rumble, shockingly, and then you won your first world title. And this year you're in what is essentially a pre-show six-man match with very little stakes. So it's kind of a big fall for the Usos. Well, especially Jay.
For Jay. I mean, I think the Usos have been slotted into a number of like pre-shows in the past, but this is a big fall for Jay. No more main event Jay Uso. At least
No,
not this WrestleMania.
it's pre-show Jay Uso. But I
Pre-show
do
Jay
think
Uso.
I
That
do
should be a
think
shirt.
prediction wise, I'm going to say that the faces win here. Um,
Hmm.
just because I show Speed is the story being he unwillingly is teaming with Logan and Austin. He didn't mean to get involved in all this, and he's just got
Whoops.
swept up in it. I think that even though celebrities tend to win these things because of the fact that he is not wanting to be a heel and just a victim of circumstance, he somehow ends up
Hmm.
standing tall with the Usos and LA Knight by the time this match is over with.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe some harmless fun. I don't know, but not much to that one.
Well, I show Speed can take a bump. Wasn't it the
Oh yeah,
Braun Breaker that just like folded him last
tore him
year?
in half. That's true. It might be more entertaining than I'm giving it credit for, but it's certainly the lesser of any of these matches when you start looking at how stacked the rest of this two-night event is, including this
Hmm.
next match, which is where
We'll be
I
looking
was
at.
transitioning from our news segment and saying that there are some pretty shocking um, matches that they are going to actually air for free on the ESPN networks. In that
Okay.
first hour, the other match on Saturday night is going to be the unsanctioned match between Jacob Fatu
Really?
and Drew McIntyre. Yes, that one is for free.
Oh wow.
That's big, right? I mean, that's
That
what you would think would be one of the end of the night matches. And instead, it's going to be on in the first hour. To your point, though, they never said it would conclude in the first hour. So
well,
this
there
could be
you
one of
go.
those that rolls into if they do the AEW thing, but that could possibly make some people mad. So I wouldn't be, unlike AEW that airs on YouTube and
Hmm.
with the 0 hour that could possibly happen because they're just giving it to you for free on YouTube and they expect you to buy the pay-per-view. Someone who's tuning into ESPN may be upset if they don't see the end of Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. So I think they are going to
Well,
actually
yeah.
give away this match on free TV.
Wow, I can't believe that. But I mean, that's great for wrestling fans who don't have the ESPN whatever extra expialidocious or whatever it is. Like,
Yeah, the all-inclusive package. This may even
yes,
be this might actually be the first match because they might just want to start everyone off hot by just, because sometimes they will
you
have
know,
a big opening contest and maybe they have this giant brawl that is, going to be probably the most violent thing we see all weekend.
it would be a good idea. Start out hot, then have like the cool down celebrity match, and then roll into
The
the
actual,
the main show.
yeah. This I think is got one of the better stories behind it. It is one of the matches that I think has been most anticipated by fans. I do think that it's
Hmm.
going to be, at least by WWE standards, on the more violent end. At one point in time, it was rumored that they might be looking at Hell in a Cell. Instead, they went unsanctioned. I have a feeling they're going to fight all over Allegiant
Hmm.
Stadium. Um, and it'll probably take up most of that hour that they're airing on ESPN2. I'm going to predict Jacob Fatu in this one. I know
Oh,
poor Drew
absolutely.
has lost his title recently, and in some ways you think he'd need a win. But not only is Jacob Fatu a future champion, Drew McIntyre we know is getting ready to go film a little movie. So not so little actually. So it wouldn't surprise me if he takes a little bit of time off after WrestleMania. One reason I'm saying Fatu.
I'm saying Fatu because it's Jacob Fatu. I mean, I dig me some Drew too, but Drew's off to be part of Clan McLeod, I do believe. So this makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense, and it helps with Fatu's ascent up the card. I would not be
Hmm.
surprised if next year, when we're doing Armenia preview, if we're talking about Fatu in the main event somehow,
Oh
either
God,
as
I hope
champion or
so.
challenger.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, that's got to be his destination if it continues on the
Hmm.
trajectory that he's on. So that takes us to the main card proper, the part that is going to be airing behind the paywall. Let's start with
Hmm.
the Women's Tag Team Championship. It is a fatal four-way match.
I hate
Your
this.
champions
I
are
hate this.
the multi-person. This is the let's get everybody on the card match.
Yes, it
Uh,
is. This is
you
some
have
Tony
your
Khan
champ.
crap right here. Is what this is.
Oh no! Don't tell me Triple H is actually being usurped by Tony too. It's bad enough he has Vince and TKO, but now Tony's booking for him.
Ah. I mean,
Your
I'm sorry.
champs
I
are
mean,
Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Your challengers are Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Bailey and Lyra Vicaria, and the Bella Twins. Hopefully, the Bella Twins. Nikki is frantically trying to rehab a rolled ankle from Raw a couple of weeks ago. All indications are that, at least in a tag multi-person scenario, I bet they'll find a way to make this Mania match work with her. I actually like Jackson Legend as champions. They look like a team. They're these,
they do.
you know, they look like um, monsters. They are monster heels. Obviously, the Flair Bliss team has been solid for a while, so it doesn't feel quite so much like thrown together tag teams. I honestly feel like WWE is doing better work in their women's tag division than they are in their men's. Um,
Hmm.
all of these women feel like possible tag team champions to me.
So I've not got to watch a lot of wrestling in the past week, but I did catch a little bit of Raw last night. Was there any stakes in the Lyra Valkyria and Charlotte, or was that just a bragging rights thing, or what was
Yeah.
going on there?
Yeah, that's the whole like we need to keep these feuds hot going into Mania, so
Okay,
we're going to take one of the participants and have them go against another participant. And then, of course, it
gotcha.
wasn't a clean victory, so there
You're
is
right,
that
right,
part
yeah.
of it as well.
Okay, so I don't like this 42 person like tag match, and I don't like Nia Jackson anyway. Although I do like Lash Legend, so
Yeah, Lash is pretty good.
so for me, Kevin, I'm calling this one for the champs. Legend and Jax, continue.
There's part of me that thinks that that is the way that they're going to go, but I also wouldn't be surprised if the Bella twins managed to pull this one off. Because I think even though Flair and Bliss have been together for a long time now as
Hmm.
this best friend gimmick, that they truly are more single superstars and probably will go their
Oh,
own way
hmm.
eventually. Same for Bailey and Lyra. But the Bella twins, back when they were on the roster full time to begin with, there were not tag team titles for them to compete for. So I kind of feel like they're maybe going to wrestle these away from Jackson and Lash.
Gotcha. Nikki with some twin magic for the win. Then is that what I'm hearing from you?
That's the way I'm going to call this one.
Okay, cool.
Next up, we have more
Oh,
women wrestling. In fact, this is the most women's matches in the history of WrestleMania. So kudos to
yay.
WWE for that. And these are not just the obligatory women's match like we might have in the past where you throw one on as a token match.
Hmm.
These are all matches that they have done a pretty good job building storylines around, including this next one, which you could say they've been building for years based on the history between these two women, and that's the Intercontinental Championship match with your champion
Hmm.
AJ Lee defending against former champion Becky Lynch, the best wrestler in the world. And that's not just me saying it. That's I love that. I mean, Becky is so good.
Yes,
I mean, she's
so
just so
good.
good. And AJ, man, I mean, I know that she's not wrestled a lot of matches, but she's acquitted herself pretty well, especially here as she's starting to get her legs back underneath her. I know last time these two met, it was maybe underwhelming based on how we thought,
Mhm.
the level we expected. I feel like for Mania, that's going to be corrected, and that this is going to be a really good contest.
I think so too, and I think since hubby's not on night one, what one family member can shine one night, the other family member can shine the other night. So,
Now, which family member are we talking
well,
about?
yeah, you know what? I realized, wait, one hubby is on the same night, isn't he?
Yeah.
I was talking about AJ and Punk actually, but I realized that Rollins also on night one. Um, I think both girls will shine, and but I don't think it's in AJ to win this. I think I think the man's coming out of this because she is the best wrestler.
Okay. Well, good. We have a multiple
Yeah,
disagreements now because I'm going to
I
go for
like it.
AJ in this one. I do think that Becky will eventually wrest the title away. I don't know. I have no insider information on what AJ Lee's schedule is supposed to be. I don't
Hmm.
know if she's just been working this light schedule going into Mania and then we'll step back, or if she's going to continue
Right.
with the company. But I feel like she might continue as champion at least for a few more rounds of pay per views.
I would not mind that, but I'm just feeling like she's done for a while after this.
Okay. Well, that will
And
definitely
that's what.
be the tell, right? If she does
Yeah.
decide that it's time to step away, it's probably indicative of a title switch. If she does lose, it probably means that is the case. This next match, Doug, is an interesting one,
What we got?
and I say it's an interesting one because I do think it has all of the possibilities of being the best match of the weekend, and it has probably the worst build of any of them. And it's not either of these gentlemen's fault. It is just one of those circumstance situations where you have to get them on the card. Their planned opponents were injured, so you had to rush into this one. But Seth Rollins versus Gunther,
Uh huh.
if you threw that out there without a build at all, you're probably going to get a heck of a match. They've done a
Yeah,
lot
you are.
in just 2 weeks to try to make it a personal issue. I thought what they did on Monday. I know you haven't seen Monday
Haven't seen it
Night
yet.
Raw yet, but I would highly recommend Gunther's promo because basically Seth Rollins was just wanting to know why. Like, he was basically the voice of the
Me too.
fan. It's like, I don't know why you did this. You're not the
Right.
one I had the issue with. Why are you helping Paul Heyman out? Um, and I thought Gunther was response was pretty
Okay.
spot on, and it also kind of planted a seed that he's not doing it for nothing. That there's something in it for him, which I don't
Hmm.
know if that's Lesnar down the road. Which we heard that Gunther Lesnar is probably a SummerSlam match, so
SummerSlam.
this would be a great way to at least tie some loose ends together to make this make sense. Originally Gunther was supposed to be facing Rey Mysterio, but Rey had an injury and they weren't sure he was going to be on the card. He actually is going to be on the
Hmm.
card, but it was too late to build anything. Seth Rollins obviously had been feuding with the Vision for a very long time, and then there wasn't hardly anyone left in the Vision standing that would make a compelling opponent. I'm actually fine for the way that they did this. Because they just were making the best of a bad situation. So I can't fault them for it, even though the build is not what you would hope for this. And I think that's probably why the match will over deliver because these men will work hard to make sure that it does.
I agree. I mean, Seth Rollins, Gunther, yes, please. I'll take that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd like some build, but it's fine. It's fine. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah. It's not the main event, it's middle of the card. And it, as such, has a very strong possibility of stealing the show from the more marquee matchups just because
Hmm.
of the in ring quality that these
Yes,
two
sir.
know that they can deliver. As far as a victor goes, though, I mean, Seth Rollins is making his comeback from injury his own self, but then Gunther has this sort of air of invincibility about him that I think they'll want to keep up, especially if they are going to slot him for
Agreed. Agreed.
Watch
You
down the
you can't
road.
you can't look like a credible threat to the beast, if that's the way you're going. When you need that momentum. You've retired AJ, you retired Cena, you've
Yeah,
taken down the architect. What's left? The beast, Kevin.
indeed.
The beast.
I do think though that Seth Rollins' original opponent,
Uh-huh.
Braun Breaker, who apparently didn't get cleared in time for build for this, but is cleared. I think that that is how Seth Rollins has an out for losing this match. I think that
Agreed.
Braun Breaker gets involved and Gunther takes advantage. And again, that's maybe, 101 booking, but sometimes the correct booking is
It's
not overcomplicating it.
exactly. Don't Tony Khan this. Don't Tony Khan this. When you did that with that 48 women like battle royal tag team, whatever nonsense it is. But
And WWE very well may have been doing it with the main event of Saturday night that we'll get to here in a bit as
mhm.
well. So I think this one they keep nice and simple, and I think Gunther goes.
Yes, agreed. I'm with you on that one.
That takes us to our final two Saturday night matches. Let's start with the Women's World Championship match. Stephanie Vaquer, the champion, defending against Liv Morgan, and that brutal knot on poor Liv's head.
God,
My
oh my
gosh,
God.
that collision between her and
Ow.
Roxanne. Um, and then just the unhinged Liv on Monday night, like looking for revenge and just screaming like a banshee. Uh, I'm excited about this match. I think that both of these ladies are excellent, and I think the care is the future. And I think that even though Liv has hardly got her best days behind her, I do think that they want to keep the care strong for now, and I think the Vicaire goes over.
Man, I hope this isn't where we start to fall into lockstep for the rest of the evening. But yeah, Vaquer goes over. Absolutely. I've really enjoyed the build to this one, and that horrible knot. Just the imagery coming off that. It's not like Becky Lynch, bloody nose Becky Lynch, broken nose Becky Lynch, but it is a great visual going and fueling this feud. But
Yeah. And then their
you
pull
know,
apart brawl last night was so
yes. Oh
intense
wait, I
that
haven't seen that. Yeah.
yeah, it just feels like these two are giving each other permission to let's go stiff, let's make it look
Yeah.
real, let's really go at each. I mean, there was hair pulling. It looked like a fight. It looked like
All
what
right.
two people who legitimately hated each other would do to one another, and I loved it. Which takes us to the main event of night one. And for all of the ways that WWE has tried to mess this one up, I still think it's going to be a good match. It's just that, as you mentioned before, the overbooking of trying to do more with a match than it needs to be. I will say this. I did think that when they first inserted Pat McAfee into the Cody Rhodes Randy Orton angle, that it was completely unnecessary. However, they did a little bit of course correction on Friday Night SmackDown, which was this past week, which was better, and it has had the unintended effect of people booing Pat because they hate it so bad that they're actually cheering Cody. And for a while, it was starting to look like Cody Rhodes was not going to be the person cheered. So if the idea was we need them to boo Randy and not cheer Cody Rhodes, they may have actually managed to do it, even if they went the roundabout way.
It seems like Cody often finds himself in these accidental fan supported roles where everybody gets behind him around WrestleMania time.
Yeah. What is that? I mean, people were booing him even on the build to this. And then he comes out on Friday, and I know you maybe hadn't seen it yet, and he's confronting Pat. And he basically just said, one thing that fans can all agree on. They don't agree with me on a lot of things or on everything, but we kind of all agree that we are fine for seeing Randy Orton, but none of us want to see you. So just go home, Pat. And suddenly the go home, Pat chants, suddenly he became the voice of the fan, which does tend to fall on him quite a bit, to your point. And he
Hmm.
had the crowd right back. I don't know if it's that Rhodes magic
That's what
that
I was
his
gonna
dad
say.
had.
That's that Rhodes charisma, that Rhodes understanding of the business right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the biggest Cody fan, in case folks haven't noticed, but
So you haven't been watching the show.
but Cody coming out a few weeks ago and cutting that like counter promo on Pat, just like, oh, you got me behind
Yeah.
Cody. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, cool, yeah, let's go.
I'm rooting for Cody in this one too, and I was not sure if it was going to be a split 50-50 crowd, but I think it's definitely going to be a pro Rhodes crowd now. Um, I'm rooting for Rhodes. I'm thinking Randy's winning this one. I think Randy is
Thank
going
you.
to walk away number 15.
Yep, Randy's winning. I do want to see that, because I want to see Randy get to 15.
And part of it is honestly WWE tipping their hat a bit when Pat said to Cody that, okay, you don't want me around here. If Randy Orton doesn't walk away, the champion, you'll never see me again. Well, rumors are already out there that
Right?
Backlash is Randy Orton and Pat McAfee versus Cody Rhodes and Jelly
It's a
Roll.
jelly roll.
Jelly
Yeah, they
Roll's
kind of
also
gave that one
demonstrated
away,
his
right?
will. Yeah, they did kind of give it away. So unless they do a double swerve on us because they think they made it too predictable by who knows, Pat apparently is getting his lines from somewhere and someone else other than Creative and Triple H. So maybe Creative will change the ending because Pat said something he wasn't supposed to say yet. I don't know, but I do think, yeah, we both agree then that Randy is the most likely winner of Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
That takes us to night two. That is only
Night
half
two.
of the fun.
Let me scroll down. Both these nights are still less than an AEW pay-per-view with all these matches. Just saying.
That is true. That is very true.
I'm pretty sure Sunday night's AEW pay-per-view is still going on right now.
Yeah, that is also very true. I do think that Triple H has shown that less can be more with his style of WWE booking, which I actually agree with, that we don't need to try to get everybody on. I imagine that with 3 hours on Friday, you're going to have a lot of SmackDown WrestleMania matches that otherwise would have been on the pay-per-view. So it is good that the way that WWE has their destinations planned out, that they can kind of give folks the big stage if they didn't make the actual big show. So the
Right.
Andre the Giant Battle Royal will be on SmackDown. We know that the MFT feud with the Wyatt Six, that is going to be decided on SmackDown. There, I'm sure, will be other matches that have had builds for a while, like poor Io Sky didn't end up with a WrestleMania match this week or this year. I wouldn't be surprised that she is taking on Asuka on SmackDown, quite possibly. So,
or maybe Danhausen.
or Danhausen will definitely play a role in WrestleMania weekend. You can guarantee that John Cena, who is your host, by the way, we should have mentioned that. Cena is hosting both nights of WrestleMania. I'm sure you can count on John Cena, Danhausen interactions for certain.
Oh God, I hope so. I just want to see Danhausen and Mr. Iguana. Please give me that interaction, please.
It's coming, Doug. It's coming. The two matches that are going to be featured in the first hour on Sunday will be on ESPN. Sunday. So Saturdays was ESPN2. If you want to check out the first hour for free on Sunday, tune into ESPN. Both of the matches they're giving away for free on ESPN on Sunday are two of the matches I'm most looking forward to the entire weekend. The first, I will say, is the Intercontinental Championship ladder match, which very likely could start things off to get the crowd hot.
Yes.
This is insane. So you have your champion Penta versus Javon Evans versus Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough versus the most popular luchador in the history of professional wrestling, the legendary Rey Mysterio, versus, what is he doing here, Rusev?
I'm like, yep. What?
They apparently either ran out of high flyers or they need someone strong to throw all these high flyers around. And I figured that's the Rusev role, to catch people coming off ladders, to put people through tables.
Nope. This is where we find out that Miro's been training and he's completely changing his style.
He's going to come out as the best man with a bridal veil looking lucha mask, and I don't know. I'm actually fine for
Oh
him being
no.
here because it is not unusual for these contests to have one unlikely
Yeah.
participant who can add a little something different to what these others are going to bring. And what these others are going to
Hmm.
bring is a lack of psychology, a bunch of holy ass chants, a whole bunch of
Hmm.
this is awesome chants, and hopefully no broken bones because they
Yes,
will be doing
please.
insane things in order to get the night two off on a very hot start. Another
Yes.
potential weekend stealer when you look at these people being involved.
So who comes out on top here?
Man, this one is a tough one.
So
I
tough.
I actually think that Penta is going to retain. I think Javon Evans is going to show out as like the next
Yeah.
big thing. I think all these men will probably have their moments. I think they'll spread it around, but I
Yeah, that's what
believe
I'm
that
looking at.
because I'm looking at a lot of title changes, honestly, in the
Uh-huh.
two nights. I think that in the multi-person match, when there really isn't a one-on-one individual stake, I think sometimes it's easier, even though the odds are against them, for the champion to somehow overcome those odds and retain. So I think
Hmm.
Penta will.
Man, I really want to say Javon Evans, but the realist mark in me knows that's not going to happen. Like you said, he'll show out. JD McDonough not going to win. Dragon Lee maybe. Rusev, Mysterio doesn't need a win. Oh yeah, Penta. It's going to be Penta.
It's
Yeah,
if not, it could be Rusev just for that this how you restart him for the 50th time. But I think Penta. Yeah, I'm with you. This
yeah.
next one, Doug, is I think maybe I think this one is just as shocking as giving away Fatu and McIntyre, but they are giving away Obafemi
This
versus Brock Lesnar.
it's because Brock wants to get out there, get his steak, and go home.
And supposedly ESPN asked for this one. They wanted Lesnar on the free version of the broadcast, which I
Okay,
understand that for the
okay,
casual sports fan who may just tune in to ESPN out of habit, you see Brock Lesnar, you're going to recognize him. That's not going to be the
hmm,
case with a lot of people that are part of the
right.
card. So it's just still, though, shocking in the fact that this could be a semi main event and
Yes.
no one would blink because I feel like from just the crowd reactions, I don't know about the quality of the match. Let's just be frank. Brock isn't what he was 15 years ago.
Right.
Um, but just based on the crowd reactions to these two being in the ring with each other, this might be one of the most anticipated matches of the weekend
Hmm.
for the live audience.
I think so. And I think this is great for Obafemi. Lesnar seems to really, really like this kid. I mean, I don't know if we
Yeah,
call Femi a kid, but, I mean, there's a lot of
not to his
respect there.
face.
Right. But yeah, and I really see Brock doing the job for Oba here, because I mean, Brock doesn't lose anything if he loses. It's Brock Lesnar.
So one of the reasons this match supposedly, if you believe reports, was late in getting booked, and I know it's been booked for about a month,
Hmm.
but they would have gone harder sooner, except the word was that Brock didn't want to lose. That Brock didn't
Mm,
want to lose going into a match with Gunther where he will also, in all
right.
likelihood, lose and retire. But
Uh-huh.
I don't know that you can keep Obafemi down at this point. I think that
Right.
Obafemi is a force of nature that you just got to ride the hot hand and go
Hmm.
with the ruler. You
Yeah.
talk about a early notch in his belt. He's a made man if he beats Brock Lesnar. I know that the modern version of Lesnar tends to lose more than he wins, which might be why
Yeah.
Brock
Yeah.
wanted to maybe win.
Fair.
But I agree with you that he seems to like Oba, and I think he will do the job for him. I do think that Oba
Hmm.
is got the betting odds here.
I think so. It just makes good business, Kevin. It's just good business.
So let's move to the next match I have on my list. We
All
don't
right.
know the order that these matches will happen, but this will be once the pay per view itself starts and moves to ESPN Unlimited. those two matches we just previewed are your free ones on
That one,
Sunday.
that one. Okay, we roll up here.
Behind
Matches.
the
Okay.
paywall, though, you have the United States Championship match. Sami Zayn, the champion, and the
Man.
supposed face against, again, let's talk about going with the hot hand, man. Whoop that trick. Trick Williams is just
Right,
not
right.
it. He is just, as soon as his music hits, it's electric. I mean, it's just
Hmm.
absolutely electric. He has that intangible that you cannot teach.
Absolutely. You can't teach that,
You
Kevin.
can't, man. And even Sammy seemed to know it. Like in his, and
Hmm.
again, I know you maybe need to catch up on. I would
Yep.
highly recommend Sammy's promo from Friday because he
Okay.
knew he was getting booed, and he was calling out all the ride or die Sami Zayn fans that I know you're still with me, and I mean, he basically was acknowledging that now the fans have turned against him, and he couldn't understand why for this guy, and he made the best of a bad situation where Sami Zayn, who has always been the underdog that the fans would get behind, is going to be the man who's booed over the obvious heel and Trick Williams just because the fans want Trick so badly. I think they're going to get
Hmm.
him. I think that the new
Yep.
U.S. champ is Trick Williams. I mean, Sammy has always been a role player who has been a good company man. He will
Absolutely.
be. He'll come back and either be go a while on a heel run, or he very
Hmm.
well may just come back within a week or two, and the fans will forget that they ever booed him, and they'll be back behind him for whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's Sami Zayn.
He's Sami Zayn. Like Lesnar losing, Sammy's not going to lose a lot from losing, and I don't think you can. I don't think he can fight this wave. I don't
No.
think WWE can fight this wave. TKO can't fight this way.
And nor would they maybe even want to. When you
Right.
realize that again, this is what the fans want. WrestleMania tends to be a time that you hope that you send people home happy. Uh,
Hmm.
Sammy wouldn't make anyone happy. Sorry, Sammy, we love you, but Trick
Right.
Williams, I'm going to be rooting for Trick, and I think he's going to win it too.
Yep.
And I think it'd be a good first title for him. U.S. Championship's a
Oh
great
yeah.
spot for him at this point in his
Absolutely.
main roster career. That takes us
Okay.
to
Yes.
a match that has, I think, a whole lot of build behind it, a story they've been telling for a long time. This one is not for a title. This one is for the pride of
Hmm.
being the guy that comes out of top on Judgment Day's dissolution, and that is Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom, against not just Finn Balor, Doug, but for the
I
first time
know.
in two
Finally, we
years, we get the Demon.
yes, yes, we get the demon.
When the Demon comes out, the Demon tends to win.
Yeah, Dom's so hot though, man. I mean,
Yeah,
if we're talking about right fighting that wave, God, this one's hard because I think I think the demon would win, but then it's Dom. This one's a hard one for me to call, man. The demon has never fought Dirty Dom, right? I mean,
no.
Dom's shady. He is the best luchador ever, the greatest luchador of all time. Not his
Greatest
deadbeat,
Mysterio ever, for sure.
right? Not that deadbeat dad of his. So
They've
this
done
one's
a great
hard.
job. This one has been, I mean, even before the breakup, they
Hmm.
had tension teased for what, a year or more
Yep.
with this. So this
Slow
definitely
burn.
has got the slow burn WrestleMania blow off feel to it.
Hmm.
I'm going Balor. I
All
see
right,
your
man.
point.
I'm going to go Dom, just so we're not like walking the same path that going into night two. I'm going Dom. Dirty Dom it is. Dirty Dom versus the Demon. I'm saying Dom comes out on top.
I hope they give them enough time because this one could again be a show
Hmm.
stealer. This next
Yeah,
one
it
I
totally
think
could.
will not be overly long just because one of the individuals in this is still kind of green. But this
Hmm.
is going to be one of your main events, one of your semi main events at least, the women's championship match where you have Jade Cargill taking on Rhea Ripley. I think that
Hmm.
Jade Cargill, while she still is not all the way there, has definitely improved. I think Rhea, who is probably the hottest wrestler in WWE, male or female. I
Yes.
think he can carry Jade to maybe one of the best matches of Jade's career. When you take the stakes, the big match feel, the
Mhm.
the accomplishments of Rhea Ripley, I think it's going to be the best performance of Jade's career because of the setting and because of the opponent. And I think though she is dropping the title to Mommy.
Mommy's always on top, brother. Mommy's always on top.
I mean, Rhea walking out with the championship over her head on WrestleMania, I think, is a happy ending that's been a while coming.
Hmm.
All right, we agree on that one. Let's see about this last match. This one that'll close
Man,
out Sunday night. This one is tough, and unlike
this one.
the night one main event, which I will admit has been convoluted in booking, this one has been one that they have been pretty straight and clear
Hmm.
on, and they have not tried to overbook this one. Fortunately, they haven't tried
Yes.
to tell fans which person you should be rooting for, which you shouldn't. They've each done heelish things. They said terrible
Hmm.
things. The fans are almost 50-50 in the reactions to these two, which I think actually is putting it in a really good spot for the final night of
Yep.
everyone being invested in this, and probably 50-50, 60-40. I don't know who's going to be booed. I don't know who's going to be cheered. I think they've done a great job of letting them both just be tweeners. They just let them both be Punk and Reigns and just go out there and
Hmm.
bash on each other because they very much have given the impression that these two men genuinely do not care for one another. And that
Hmm.
might have a kernel of truth to it. And I think that adds an extra layer of intrigue to both the match and the match's outcome.
It indeed does. I mean, and like you say, there's no who's the heel, who's the baby face. Everybody's riding that tween train. Tween? Yeah, tween train.
Yeah.
I almost turned this into a completely different kind of show
Yeah.
there, I think.
I'm
But
following you.
but at the end of the day, who gets their hand held high at the end of this? For me, I think Punk goes over here, man. I think Reigns goes off to be part timer again. Punk not only gets his WrestleMania, his legitimate, what he considers, and honestly, what I consider a
Yeah.
main event is going on last. He gets his WrestleMania main event, not night one main event, night two main event, the main
Or it's
event.
one-on-one for a title, which last time he went
Yes.
on last, it wasn't for a title. He wasn't the only, there wasn't two participants. This is definitely the main event that Punk wants. I'm going to
Hmm.
disagree with you though. I'm actually going for
Oh,
Roman.
okay. Okay.
I feel that even though he works that part-time schedule, I think that Roman is going to stick around a little while longer. And I think that he takes Punk down in Punk's first singles main event at WrestleMania. I know that's who I'm going to be rooting for. And there was a time I was such a Punk mark, and I know Punk's a better worker than
Same. Oh
Reigns,
my God.
and
Me
he's a
too.
good stick man, but there's something so unlikable about CM Punk, the person, that even when he's trying to be the face, I just like,
Yes.
all right, I'm all behind my tribal chief in this one. So maybe part of it is just wish fulfillment and hoping that Roman wins. But I'm going to go Roman on this one. I do think that this atmosphere, even if the match quality won't be 5 stars, I think the atmosphere is going to be 5 stars. I think that based on how they ended last year's WrestleMania, where it was really a dud of a match between Cena and Rhodes, I think they're so protective of making sure that does
Hmm.
not happen again. I think that these two will put on a very, again, not 5 star technically, but I think
Right.
the atmosphere and the men involved and the crowd split is going to make this big fight feel in
Agreed.
a
Yeah.
very fitting conclusion to a stacked card.
Hmm.
Really, you can complain about the build, and you have every right to do so with a lot of these matches. Some of it was underbilled. You can talk about ticket sales, ticket prices, but when you look on paper, there is many matches on here that could steal the entire weekend. Like there's some really good matchups
Yes.
that they
Yes, there
have.
are.
So get excited, folks. This is not
It's
a test.
time. It
It is
is.
time.
We are here. Kevin, what have I missed this week? Help me out. Where should I watch? Where should I get things caught up? I've got
Well,
bits and pieces.
we're going to hit this big finish Doug didn't see much wrestling, so I'm going to be speaking not just to all of you. I'm going to be speaking to Doug too. So, Doug, botch of the
Smart me
week.
up.
When you watch Dynasty, which I'm sure you will, Chris
It's locked and
Jericho
loaded.
had his return, and I won't
Uh-huh.
give anything away about winners or losers since you probably already know winners and losers. I know you. You don't
Yeah.
care about
I know.
spoilers, but
I just need to know how we got there. I don't care about the endings. If I know
well,
ahead of
this
time.
isn't the
But
ending, but we have Chris Jericho audibly trying to get Toa Leona to grab his arm and cheat while the referee's back was turned. It is one of the more obvious called spots I have ever seen
oh,
because he was not only hollering at Toa Leona, he was motioning for him like with his hand. It was like his hands outstretched over the rope, and he's doing like this number, like come on, grab my arm. It was
okay.
ridiculous.
So maybe that's the new Jericho gimmick. He's the really bad old wrestler now. That's
Who's
the new
calling his
gimmick, maybe.
spots there?
Who's calling
Obviously,
exactly?
I
I
mean,
mean, it
yeah,
could be
he,
Jericho. If anybody can do it, it could be Jericho.
it was unintentionally funny. It's certainly worth catching. Performance of the week. I'm going to go with CM Punk. And again, I know I just badmouthed CM Punk, but daggone it, the dude is good on the mic. His
He
whole
is,
second price
man.
pipe bomb from last Monday night's Raw, scripted, maybe, maybe
Right,
off script, maybe scripted by part of the creative team against TKO. Who knows if we're being worked or not? All I know
right.
is it was compelling. It led to other memorable promos over the past week. The lights of Pat McAfee, who, after really screwing things up in his first appearance, actually had a pretty awesome promo this last week on
Hmm.
SmackDown.
Okay.
Cody Rhodes' response, which you had rightfully called out.
Right.
Uh, so, I mean, they're definitely riding the momentum of just the guy who's just so hot on the mic. Yeah, I got to give it to CM Punk and just the general promos that he and Roman have done and cut on each other. They have been so compelling that it has definitely made it feel like anyone who had thought that maybe the main event should be reversed or that one of the other matches, the women's matches or
Mhm.
something, should go on last. There's nothing that's going to be able to follow Punk versus Reigns based on the build that they have done for it.
Right.
So kudos to them for the work that both men have put in
Cool.
to make it look like a true Sunday night final moment of the weekend.
Awesome.
Match of the week. I almost went with the Penta versus Vikingo match from AAA just because we've not called out a AAA match yet
Uh-huh.
since WWE has taken them over and provided a free
Right.
broadcast every week. But then I did watch Dynasty, and obviously AEW does pay per view so well.
So well.
Their main event, MJF versus Kenny Omega. Omega looked like the Omega of old. MJF showed that, unlike his Texas Death Match, which was unbelievable for different reasons, that when he wants to wrestle a completely different style of contest, he can do that too at a world championship level. So it really was a showcase for MJF to show his range, that he isn't just a one dimensional type of performer. It was
Hmm.
by far the best match I saw this week. I would highly recommend it for you, Doug. I know you're going to watch it
Excellent. Yes, sir.
anyway, but anyone else out there who maybe is watching because it's WrestleMania preview show and does not watch AEW on the regular, you definitely need to do yourself a favor and catch that one.
Excellent.
And with that, it's time, everyone.
It's
So
fine.
before we sign off, you see our schedule there, some different nights. Doug is going to be handling things for us. He is going to be
Yes.
giving the at home ESPN Unlimited perspective, dropping our Two Bros Wrestling Show review. I am heading to Las Vegas for the very first time to see WrestleMania in person. I will be attending SmackDown. I'll be attending Raw. I'll be attending the Hall of Fame. I'm going to video content from each of my stops. And then the week after
Excellent.
Doug's review, you're going to come with me and I'm going to take you with me through my first WrestleMania experience. And for those of you who maybe haven't had the opportunity, hopefully we can shed some light on what to expect, what we like, what we didn't like, and what it was just like to be there in person as opposed to maybe watching it at home. I'm excited. I hope you all are
I'm
excited.
excited.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. And folks, I know I got plenty backed up on my TV right now. So get out there, go watch some wrestling. It is WrestleMania week, people.
Get
It is
at it.
time. Get at
Time.
it. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.